Hey, what's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Thirsty Thursdays, you already know. Today's topic, I want to talk a little bit about the mindset that it takes to become, I guess a beast, right? A savage, an entrepreneur, someone to be looked up to. It's not an easy task, as easy as it sounds, and this is coming from my personal opinion, ladies and gentlemen. This is not, stuff that I hear on YouTube or anything like that. This is how did I get to a point where I feel like, it might be wrong, right? But I feel like I can't be stopped. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. My goals, my dreams, what I want to provide for my family. I just can't be stopped, man. I can't. That's just my mindset. Now, how do I get to this? Because I always like this. Well, myself and my brother Ricardo, we've always been strong-minded. Ever since we were little kids, we were always, the leader of the pack. We were always the hardest workers, right? From what I remember, we used to have a neighbor across the street. Her name was Gracie, and she was kind of like the neighborhood mom, right? Everybody would, hang out at her house, and she would have us do chores. Well, not have us do. We did them for her. Cutting the grass, planting, vegetables, doing yard sales for her. And myself and Ricardo, we were always like the number ones, right? We were always, on time, disciplined, helped from beginning to the end. Our friends weren't always the same, and which is kind of crazy. A little bit off topic, but I went to a restaurant just recently, about 3 days ago, and a local restaurant here in San Bernardino, Fire. If you haven't been there, you got to go check it out. My boy owns it. It's a really good restaurant. Has wings and mariscos, which is a weird combination, but it actually works, and the food is really good. Anyways, one of the guys that I grew up with was there. Tattooed face, hunched over, looked like he was just going, through withdrawals, heroin withdrawals, which is usually pretty good at telling, when your body's all slumped over and you're barely walking, you're barely coherent. So anyways, I was just tripping out on that. I was like, man, that's crazy. It's crazy. We used to run in the same pack. We grew up in the same neighborhood, same circumstances. And it was sad to see, man. It was really sad. And the crazier part is my mom was there, and my mom remembers him. And my mom was just like, wow. She's all, that could have been you guys. And really sad, right? Really sad. I don't know what the excuse is for that, right? I don't know. We grew up single moms, both of us, right? Same broke situation, welfare, the whole shebang. So it was just a crazy thing to look at, because aside from feeling sorry for him, I was just thinking like, man, that could have easily been me, right? That could have easily been me, but I chose to be better. I chose to want to do better. Was it guaranteed? At the time, it wasn't guaranteed. At the time, there was no guarantee that I was going to be successful, or that I'm even successful yet, right? I don't even want to go there yet, because people ask me that question all the time, and I don't feel successful, because I don't feel like I can take the time to stop and say, yes, I'm successful, because there's always somebody bigger and better than you, right? But in other people's eyes, I can understand why they think we're successful, or why they can see me as successful. I don't feel successful yet, because I'm going to feel successful when I can stop and say, I'm done. I'm checking out. I'm going to die. Did I do everything that I plan on doing? Till then, I can't say that I'm successful, because I don't know what the end's going to look like. Things can change tomorrow. Long story short, it was almost like looking at myself in the reflection and going, the road to the left, bad road, the road to the right, which is the good road. I obviously took the good road, but I'm not going to tell you there wasn't some pit stops or some side roads, right, that I took throughout my time that I was in the on the bad course as well. Man, it tripped me out. It's almost like you're looking at yourself in a reflection of a mirror. He could have been looking at me thinking that could have been me. I'm looking at him, that could be me. Crazy, tripped me out. But I do recall one thing. And I do recall that when we used to work together, myself and my brother Ricardo would always go hard. I don't know if it's from our bloodline. I don't know what that comes from. All I knew, from what I remember, excuse me, is I always wanted to work harder. I always wanted to prove myself to Gracie, and I think Ricardo was on the same boat, that we were the best ones. Nothing to do with monetary gain, because most of the time we didn't get paid. It was just doing it out of the goodness of our heart. But my mom has always been like that. So I think, now that I think about this or I reflect on it, a huge part of it was my mom. That's, I guess, we were, I mean, those of you guys that don't know us, we grew up in a single mom home, right? She took care of everything for us. But my mom has always been a hard worker, right? No BS, man. She cracked the whip real quick, no problem, right? That doesn't mean that I still didn't, do what I did. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that I was the best child or best young adult, but nonetheless, thanks to her, things were stuck together. But I wanted to share that story because I know that a lot of the times you and I go through things, emotional roller coasters in our life, and we can't even see the end in sight, right? It's just like, oh my God, I got to do this again, and oh my God, I'm going through this, and oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna, what if I'm not successful? And you start doubting yourself, and you start doubting yourself, and you start giving up. And when you start giving up, you start to become almost isolated. And when I say isolated, I don't mean physically isolated, I mean mentally isolated. You box yourself in, you box your mind in where it's a steel box. You're never going to get out of that, that whole situation or that whole mindset. And the worst thing about that is that you can get stuck there for the rest of your life. Back to the friend that I hadn't seen I hadn't seen him in maybe 20 years. He's stuck, and he's stuck in a really bad box. I mean, it's like he's stuck, man. He's stuck, and unfortunately, the older you get, the more difficult it becomes, physically, mentally. Right? If you're a young entrepreneur, you're a young real estate agent, whatever it is you're doing, man, do things right. Couple principles that myself and my brother Ricardo never break is, number one, we don't ever steal, right? From anyone or from ourselves. He trusts me just as much as I trust him. I don't have to look at the bank accounts on his side because I know he's taking care of business. He knows on the same side on my side, right? We have to trust each other. Number two, we work harder. He works harder in his own way, and I work harder in my own way. He's smart, very smart in his own way. I'm very smart in my own way, right? Those are just some principles that I live by. Don't ever screw anybody over, right? Because that person could be a somebody someday, and it come back and bite you in the behind. Work your ass off. Have faith that you're better than that, and you deserve better, and you are not gonna stop till you get to the top. And the trippy part about that is this. The trippy part is that when you get to the top, it's like, what's next, right? It's like working out, right? You get into this momentum of working out, and it was so hard to get there, and now you're seeing results, and now you're working out, and it's like, I don't want to stop, because the minute I stop, I start all over again, right? If you've ever been there, I know I have. It happens. It happens very quickly. So keep the momentum going. Even when you reach your goal and you hit that goal, what's next? And if you need a little bit of pick me up, think about this. Trip out on this. I had another conversation with another realtor in my office, female, and she mentioned, hey, I've been having a real difficult time concentrating with the war going on. She's on, especially my friend. She has a friend that's a family member that's stuck in the war, in Israel, or I think it's Israel. And it's sad. Yeah, it's super sad. Absolutely. I agree 100% with her. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And she's on, I just feel like I'm going down this rabbit hole and it's just so hard to stay focused. And I was like, it is. And the more you concentrate on that, the deeper you go into that rabbit hole. But I said, let me help you out a little bit. Trip out on this. What if I told you that right down the street at the hospital, down the street from our office, you got babies dying? Babies that are dying every single day because of an illness, because of a tumor, because of whatever the case is. You do. I said, it's every day. And that's been happening before the war started, and it's been happening after the war. I said, but can you imagine if you focus your entire life on the unfortunate, on the negativity side of things, what would happen to your mind? Your mind would just start to deteriorate and it would start to die. You will literally be committing suicide. Crazy, isn't it? So I understand that it is sad. Absolutely. It is hard. But the minute you start to do that and you start to dwell on that, the minute you start dying, and the minute you start dying, so does your family. It's crazy, huh? It's crazy. So let's try to stay focused. I know it's hard. We have to stay positive. This is not the first rodeo. This has been happening for hundreds of years. It's not going to stop. It's always going to be like that, right? The negatives, the positives, the highs, the lows. It doesn't stop. One thing that I take from a coach, a mentor that we have is Mike Ferry, right? Is we try to stay level-headed. When you celebrate, try not to over-celebrate. And when you under-celebrate, try not to under-celebrate. Try to keep yourself composed. Things will come, things will go. I know it's hard because I know personally it's difficult for me, but you can do it. And I believe you can. Guys, I just pulled up to my office, ready to get to work, 7 a.m. Got our agents already hustling. A few of our agents already working. And that's how we do it. PMP. You guys have a great day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace out.